Hello, hello.
Good afternoon, all. How are we all doing out there? Just catching up with a little bit of the chatter here. Some golf ball chatter, surprisingly enough. It's the hot topic.
What a shock.
It's the hot topic.
I hear.
What are you saying to it?
Yeah, what do you think?
You know what? I don't think it'll go through. I'm not at the PGA Tour level.
I think, yeah.
I'm also hoping it doesn't go through. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. And the trickle down effect is interesting too, because if you're counting world ranking points like Wagger points, is you could go all the way down into some of the amateur competitions at that point, and they'd have to be forced to play the new ball, which
that's not great.
Really messy, right? When you start to get that borderline, even an Ontario Men's Am or Ontario Amateur or something like that. Would still get world ranking points. So
I didn't even know that. I never thought of that.
How far down the list do you want to go?
And those are people that don't necessarily hit the ball that far. They're just good players.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I absolutely hope you're right. I just think they need to leave it alone. Leave it alone. There's not. I mean, when they talk about making golf balls faster, I really don't think that they're making big changes to the golf balls, the energy output. I mean,
have you seen a ball that goes 10 yards further in the last 5 years?
No, we haven't. We've seen, dimple patterns change, little subtle, nuances, but I don't think people, you guys watching will have seen golf balls really dramatically change your game. It may have changed your game by finding the right one.
Yeah, being fitted properly.
That might have, made a massive difference. It should have anyway if you have found the right one. But, I definitely don't think that, pulling the golf ball back is in any way near necessary.
No, I totally agree. I think we talked about it. You guys will look forward to the podcast this week. Ian and I probably spent 15 minutes on it.
Yeah.
About something like that.
We did, yeah.
Cole's notes is we both think that it's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary, and it's a stupid thing for them to focus on. Of all the stuff you could be doing with golf right now,
definitely.
Enough of the ball stuff. Just leave it alone.
Lots of things that you could focus their time and energy on. Yes. That doesn't need to be one of them.
Yeah. No, somebody I read an article the other day, said, if you really want to make it penal, don't rake the bunkers, grow the rough out, right. Keep the greens hard and fast, you can toughen up a golf course so many different ways than obviously adding 1,000 yards to every classic track. Make the bunkers a little bit more of a penalty,
Definitely.
Sure, you could do that.
You've been to places where bunkers are a significant penalty, and then some you go to that are not, a significant penalty. I mean, you imagine they added 3 feet to the lip of the two bunkers on the 18th Augusta on the left side.
Good point.
You imagine they add that, and take that as a non-option to get to the green. So you can't
get to the green, yeah.
Just something like that. Like those little types of things will make a big difference. Yeah,
that would influence a player to play a spinnier driver.
Yep.
That doesn't go as far.
Just take those bunkers out of play.
They rolled back their driver for you because they need to put it in play.
Yeah, good point. And I think a few years ago, if you recall, remember Jack Nicklaus at Memorial had the bunker rakes that had the wide furrow.
Yeah, the furrow, and the ball sits down.
So the ball would kind of sit in the little furrows.
Remember they were saying that.
And the players were having a nightmare.
Right. Even in the fairways, right? Fairway bunkers.
Yeah, they would just obviously avoid them at all costs. So I think there's other options that are probably, everyone says the cost, but I think there's some very cost-effective ways of toughing up golf courses without certainly touching the golf ball.
Totally.
Agreed.
But I think I'm in your camp. I have a feeling it won't go through either, just because I think it seems to be being opposed by the majority of people. There is a vocal minority that definitely says, like, no, I think it's the right choice, which, whatever. I respect someone else's opinion. I don't agree, but it does seem like the overwhelming number of people, especially in the decision-making, influential roles like tour players, top players, they've all come out and been like, please don't do this. So
well, not only that, but I think too is a bit of a power play too by the USGA and the R&A, trying to flex their muscles a little bit. And I think that the PGA Tour is kind of swatting that down and saying, listen, we'll make up our own rules, and we're going to agree with what the players want to do, and there's no real rule here that forces us to do this. So I'd be surprised actually if they can get it to push through.
Yeah, I agree, totally agree. What's going on there?
I'm not sure what that is.
Cole just gifted
10
memberships. Cool.
That's neat.
I didn't know you could do that.
That is. Allow gifts to date?
We'll click that. What happens? Well, that's for you because you're.
Allow gifts on the channel.
I publicly. Okay. Oh, we'll have to look into that.
Huh. There you go.
What's the other one? Click on that other one that says 26 months.
I think that's...
Oh, that's Cole there.
Yeah, how long Cole's been
cool.
with us.
He's been with us for ages.
A long, long time.
And in return, Cole, we are going to get your question. I don't know where it is. Why don't you read it off, Ian? I can't find it.
So Cole's 6 foot tall, with 38-inch wrist to floor.
There he is.
WTF means something else.
Yeah. We know what that acronym is.
One fit had me ½ inch longer, 2 degrees upright. Other fit had standard with
1 degree.
One up, missed thin, confused as heck. Plain PXG 0311P Gen 5 standard length. D2 carry 1. Yeah, I would say more indicators point towards a little bit longer Cole for sure. 6 foot, 38-inch wrist to floor would not, to me, kind of indicate a standard length golf club, but those are kind of some guidelines and nothing really much more. So dynamically we'd be looking at where's your strike occurring. You've said on the thin side, so yeah, I'd definitely err on the longer side of that. Certainly at least ½ inch. Might even be worth dabbling with 3/4 of an inch just to see how you manage it. Always like to say, if you're in doubt, try short or try longer. So try standard and try an inch over and see kind of what patterns you can sort of determine from doing that.
Yeah, very good. An observant member, Kyle, says Super Chats don't look like they're working. Super Chats are off.
Super Chats are off this week, yes.
We are testing the vibe. I just thought, and we talked about this off camera, that it was kind of forcing us to rush and not be able to sort of spend 5-10 minutes talking about a topic if we felt like it.
Yeah.
We sort of had to make sure we got to all the Super Chats. So we'll be looking for your guys' feedback. Do you enjoy the stream more? Will you be more likely to watch with the Super Chats because we get to different questions?
Yeah.
We spend more time on topics.
We can be a little bit more, we
Fluid,
always feel so bad for anyone who leaves
right?
a Super Chat. They've left money with us. It's like, well, you can't not
leave it.
answer it. So you've got to go in there. And it got to the point where the cadence of the Super Chats basically filled the whole stream.
It filled the whole stream, and to be honest, it filled it plus, and we had to rush. So I think our hope is that we'll get more people watching overall. Obviously, you don't have to pay for a question. We're going to get questions that we think are interesting to everyone. So let us know what you think of the stream. Hopefully, it's a positive change, and if not, let us know.
Yes.
Okay. Cole gifted 10 people membership. Thank you, Cole.
I was going to say,
I can see it in the feed.
There's some other things happening. So Dips just gifted 5 memberships.
Wow.
So
I don't remember turning this gift thing on, but I must have.
So look at that. So Matt Scott was gifted a membership. Wayne was
great.
Gifted a membership.
So now you guys will show up.
Perfect.
Now, if you're a member, I will say that you can send a message in the chat more than every 5 minutes.
Right.
So that's one thing. It's not a super chat, but you can send messages more often. Slow mode is on for everybody else. So if you're wondering why some people can send like 2-3 messages, it's because they're members of the channel. So there you go.
I actually think that's quite a TXG live thing to do is gift.
It really is, yeah.
Gift memberships to other people. I really
is.
like that kind of passing it on sort of idea.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, speaking of which, let's get into some questions. Let's do a couple Scott related questions since we have Scott today.
Absolutely.
So Kyle's asking, he's loving the vids with the guys. Thank you. From Ian's last lesson, what is the sequence from start of backswing to getting into pressure on the lead foot? We talked about that clock orientation of the foot.
Lots of people really resonated with that.
Right.
That kind of visual of the clock and the pill bottle.
Yeah, basically the timing of that would be aligned with the pressure point. So we had the high pressure point to low pressure point, but basically when the low pressure point, which is around, we'll call P4.5 or just after the top of the backswing there, that's the point where we're really pushing into 11 o'clock. So matching up the low pressure point with 11 o'clock is kind of the timing to it. As that arm continues to fall and we go to 10, and then 9:30, right, that arm is falling a little bit further as we go around the corner. But basically, the timing with the lead arm, roughly with the low pressure point somewhere around just after the top of the backswing.
Makes sense.
Love it. Someone was asking there, in fact, Chase was asking, hey, gents, Scott, would you have a swing pattern that's a combination of elephant trunk and constant radius more of an in-between version of the two. You were talking about Minwoo Lee last week.
There's some elements. Certainly, there's lots of. I mean, the 13 patterns that I coach, basically those are starting points. Mm-hmm. So between those patterns, obviously, there's lots of variation.
Yeah.
It's really just identifying anatomically what a player maybe is more apt to be able to do. But certainly there would be, we'll call it a slightly looser constant radius, mm-hmm. and maybe a slightly less of an elephant's trunk.
Yeah.
Even if we look historically back through some of Rory's swings, who that elephant's trunk is really modeled after, right. There's different amounts of kind of that dynamic loading of the lead arm adduction, even in Rory's history. Mm-hmm. Nowadays it's a lot less than perhaps it was 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
Not to say that it's necessarily better or anything like that. It's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So he's softened up some of the elephant's trunk over the last 10 or 12 years, which might be just a little bit of anatomy, some of those ideas. But it's interesting. It's definitely a very viable pattern. I think Ian's doing really well with it.
I'm enjoying it. I have to say that I'm really enjoying the matchup of the things that I struggle with, and that pattern, it really is something that helps me be a little bit more dynamic, have a little bit more rhythm and flow to the swing, which has been, I was looking actually back at some of our YouTube shorts the other day, and one of the ones that we had done was at Pinehurst.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
When we played the first couple of holes at Pinehurst, and looking at how sort of, it was just tough for me to get the swing going. At that point, it was such a stuttered takeaway.
Your first little bit, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, you've improved in that drastically.
Improved, good bit.
Jerry says he got gifted a membership, which is lovely.
Very cool.
He says he's coming up to the GTA for a concert. You should come up for a fit as well. He's looking for dinner suggestions. Jerry, Toronto is now on the Michelin Guide, so you should go look at the Michelin Guide. I've actually been lucky enough to go to a couple of the restaurants that won, and they've been outrageously good.
Good stuff.
I don't think you can go wrong. You're going to spend, but that's what I would do. If you're coming up for a destination, you might as well do the finest that it has to offer.
What do you like in the city?
I actually haven't eaten that much. A few times downtown.
Yeah. Harbour 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacobs.
Harbour 60 and so on. But really need to do more of that. That's for sure.
I know.
I mean, there's so many options. You could eat out once a week in Toronto for probably 30 years and never go to the same place twice.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could. It's insane. And you eat well too.
So much good food.
Yeah. Toronto has its issues with traffic and such, but you have to say the food is hard to beat.
The Amateur Golfer UK says that he loves that we are back to the good smiles of TXG days.
I'm assuming he just means okay.
Good old TXG days. Life is good. We agree.
We
could not agree more.
What was I going to take here?
Has NYC been announced yet?
No, I saw Joe here. Joe, I don't think we've picked yet. I don't think we've picked yet, so you might still be in luck. I'm pretty sure we're not picking in.
I think it's 4:00 today.
It's like today, Joe.
Later today.
Yeah. Don't give up yet. You can watch your inbox tomorrow morning, and you may still be in there. That's a good question. Austin's saying, I'm starting to think that my irons have been bent too flat. Is there anything that I can look for that would confirm that suspicion? I mean, aside from seeing it dynamically toe down on a launch monitor. Strike get affected by that?
It can definitely be affected by that. I would say the biggest thing you'd see start line to the right.
Right, so you hit some pushes.
Yeah, you'd struggle a little bit with that.
Where does the strike go if it's too flat? Toe side?
It'll go more toe side. Well, it could go more toe side. You're effectively making the club longer.
Right, of course.
But you're throwing, you're raising, you're lifting the CG up. You're lowering the toe down.
Yes. Makes
sense.
So,
yeah. I mean, you would think if you were making it longer, you're going to push the strike in a little bit because longer clubs tend to move the strike in a little bit, but you are delivering the toe down at the golf ball but lifting the CG and heel it away from the golf ball. So it just depends how severe it is. If it's very subtle, then it shouldn't change it an awful lot, not 1 degree anyway.
Gotcha. I've seen this question a million times, honestly, since we've had Scott on, which has been months now. People just wanting to know what's the best way to go and just sort of study your patterns. Is there online courses available?
That's my next coaching certification will be April the 16th here at TXG. Actually, TXG Mississauga, I'll broadcast live. So look to my Instagram channel at Scott Coke Certified. I'll have an announcement about that actually this week.
So someone can sign up and catch that.
Absolutely, and they don't have to be golf pros.
Yeah.
I mean, it's designed for golf pros, but if you're interested in the patterns and so on, you're more than welcome. I've had said somewhere just under 3,000 worldwide go through it.
That's incredible.
So yeah, absolutely, and some of those are just players and regular golfers who just want to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing here is likely these are just enthusiastic players that want to learn more about it. So watch Scott's Instagram page is the answer. That's a question I haven't think we've answered in a long time. We can each give our own answer. What is your favorite hybrid of the 2023 lineup so far? Starting with you. Doesn't have to be for you.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say,
Doesn't have to be for you.
In fits, I would say G430.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. What about the new TS stuff? It's been good?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I think TSR1 is a little sneaky one.
Is it?
That large, slightly larger head. It looks like a little mini fairway wood.
Can you adjust weight in that to make it?
You can.
So I could play it if I wanted to.
You absolutely could.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's almost like a little UDI thing,
It
right?
is.
That's
Yeah.
a few people have said that, or like it's like someone compared it to Callaway's UW in a certain
do you know what
loft,
that's
because it's the
what
footprint of it.
Yeah.
Someone said that to me. They're like, "Oh, you should try it." I didn't realize you could swap the weights out. That's a good pick. I really liked the new Cobra King Tech that we tested out. I think it's pretty easy to hit. It's not too knuckly. I think this. I'm trying to remember. I've had both. I had last year's too. But whatever they did to the footprint of this year, I think it's flat carbon finish now. It looks really sharp addressed. And like you said, it's got a little bit more real estate on top, so it doesn't look too small. So
Definitely.
those would be
What do you like?
our two ones.
Well, I'm a Titleist guy, through and through. But I mean, I think I really like the Titleist product, especially in the Fairwood and the hybrid.
So
I think
good.
they've blended it nicely.
They have.
Non-Titleist, I think I really like the look of that. The TaylorMade actually looks really nice.
The
Nice,
Stealth
isn't
2
it?
is very
Really
nice.
stealth too. Yeah, it's got a nice profile.
Yep, that's currently what's in my bag is a little 22
That's your little
degree,
hybrido?
hybrido.
Yep. Yeah, I have one of those as well. All right.
I think that's something you'll ever do. Pixels is asking that any way we can get evaluated for what this best swing pattern for us. Does Scott offer online analysis? Well, you do online coaching, but is that something you could ever do where people could sort of almost
It's
self-diagnose based on some pointers?
I mean, there's some generalities. I mean, a lot of it's, I would say the two main ones really quick would be pelvic to thoracic mobility levels. Can a player separate pelvis and thorax effectively?
Yep.
That's going to determine a lot of the patterns that maybe you can and cannot do.
Right.
Number one. And then number two would be certainly, some of the patterns are maybe geared a little bit more toward accuracy, like we're working on with concert radius with Maddie.
Yeah.
And then, elephant's trunk is a little bit more dynamic. So if you struggle with dynamics and sequence, I think
Makes
that
a lot of
elephant's
sense,
trunk
doesn't
is probably a nice pattern to work on. But then we've got all the non-planar patterns. You've got Cobra pattern and negative beta form tracer and a few other ones there too.
The fancy stuff.
Fancy stuff, yeah. But, so it all depends. I mean, the second piece I would say is, what is a player currently doing? If they're already a little bit non-planar and they're taking it up and down on different lines and the club's doing different things, we'll call it mini Matthew Wolf, if you will. Then we'll probably keep you in a non-planar type of a pattern. But if you're more of an Adam Scott, up and down the same lines, that's probably going to fit you into one of the constant radius patterns.
Right. Very cool. I was going to grab this one from Zach because I've seen it 17 times.
Part of the benefit of being a member,
Yes,
Zach,
yes.
can throw it in there 17 times.
Zach is asking, morning guys, getting married in Glasgow next year. Good lad.
Never been.
Want to play Loch Lomond more than anything. Any suggestions for courses to play? He's got the Old Course, Kings, Barnes on the list so far. I mean, I think maybe... Loch Lomond might be the toughest tee time to get in Scotland.
Is it? Shit.
Yeah.
Because it's super private, right?
Super private.
What's the one a couple hours from Glasgow? The Lynx one.
Dumbarnie?
No, the one on the coast. You have to go up and around. Robbie was telling me, the
Machrihanish?
Machrihanish.
So there's two. There's Machrihanish and Machrihanish Dunes that are really, really nice. I mean, yeah, if you can get out to the west coast, I mean, those are special. I mean, if they were just on the west coast rather than kind of, it takes a 25 minutes in a helicopter from Glasgow Airport, and it takes you like 3 hours to drive.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. Just because you're kind of zigzagging on the crooked west coast of, so you're literally on the jagged edge of the
cool,
of the country.
Cool drive.
But Zach, unfortunately, I wish I could tell you kind of a way in at Loch Lomond. I just think it's one of those places you need to know someone. You need to have a host.
Need an in.
Yeah.
If you find one, let us know.
I know, not an easy place to get onto.
No. Craig's got an interesting one here. He says he just swapped his Cobra LTD-X into an Aerospeed, same shaft. His swing weight has gone up 3 weights. Why? If the grip is the same and the weights are the same, like the adjustable weights, then he just must have ended up with a heavy head.
You just need to measure the head weights.
You just got a heavy head, obviously.
Literally just unscrew them both, put them both on a kitchen scale, just a digital weighing scale. It doesn't even need to be analog, actually. It doesn't even need to be digital. Just weigh them both and see what they come out to. And you'll see kind of where the outlier is. But definitely head weight is why.
And then you could, let's say the head shell is heavier. You can use custom weights to make it match. That would be your best. But you need to isolate. You might have I don't know if Aerospeed ships with the same weights that LTDX used to ship with, and in terms of gram weights. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same.
I think I would imagine LTD into JLS. Okay, so it was driver. Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I think the new one is it 12 and 3 or the 2
12
weights
and 3.
On the bottom.
I think it's the same as last year, but I would check that first. But then, as Ian said, if not, then check the shell.
The weight combination, the total head weight's supposed to be the same. It's not 6-7 grams is that discrepancy on those 3 points.
Right.
So I definitely haven't noticed any head weight changes that drastic in it. So maybe just want to check out and make sure you didn't get a heavy head by mistake or something.
Got it.
Mr. Yeaman is saying Carnoustie is easy access. Yeaman is the lad I was playing with.
Oh right, yeah.
On another Monday.
Perfect.
Where my accent was migrating heavily back into.
I didn't know who I was talking to.
Strength. Yeah. Tends to happen.
Medium strength Scottish.
Yeah.
Okay, what else can we get here?
Joseph is asking, does Scott also teach short game putting? If so, will that be part of the TXG project? You do teach?
For sure, yes, absolutely. Teach all parts. Probably don't get as much press on the short game stuff, but I probably enjoy it just as much. Probably the part of my game that personally I'm probably the best part of my game, be honest with you. But for sure, we've done a little bit of wedge stuff in the past.
We have, I really enjoyed the wedge stuff we've done.
Haven't done anything yet with Maddie, but I'm sure we could probably do something out at the pulpit this summer.
That would be fun. Awesome, actually. Go
do
out
a little
to 11 East or something and do some wedge stuff.
Do some filming out there.
Yeah.
Sure. The bonus hole.
Yeah. So good out
Talk wedges and bunker play.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. Good idea.
I like
I'd love to do that.
Anders wants to know if we'll review the new Miura 302s. I would say eventually. They were just announced.
They just arrived. I saw them.
You got some?
Brian has them built up already on his bench. Brian's on it, man. He is. Wow. He is a champion.
That's good.
He is an absolute champion.
He worked hard yesterday.
Yeah, so we had him in for his fit this morning.
And went well.
It was a good one.
It was a very good one. You guys will see that tomorrow.
Awesome. Yeah, he was grinding hard. I think
he had a million balls. He said,
He had 3 or 4 hours yesterday.
I love it. So, guys, Brian is one of our club builders. Was a 23 handicap, in and around that when he started with us. He's managed to get the handicap down a little bit. He works really hard at his game. He really does.
Like
he hits a lot of balls. He's dedicated himself, and he plays with us. We have a little Thursday night winter league amongst the boys, and he's been giving the boys, a couple of dustings over the course of the winter time. Obviously, I think his handicap is a little bit inflated for perfect lies every shot and things like that. So, maybe some of the on-course scenarios is where he struggles. But he said he'd been struggling with the driver, so we done a little driver fit for him today, and it was a fun one. So Brian's about 95 to 99 club head speed.
Yeah, that's what we saw.
So if you're kind of in that mid-teens handicap range, 95 to 99 miles an hour, and specifically kind of turn the ball over a little bit, you're going to want to pay attention to this one tomorrow. Definitely be a good one.
It is not one to miss, I'll tell you that much. Good one from Earl here.
Oh, Deb.
There you go.
You know Deb?
Yeah.
I'll bring that up after. Earl says he's been doing some speed training over the winter. He's increased his speed, but he finds now that the spin and launch have gone up, and he nets shorter in distance than where he was before. That's
you need a fit, my man.
Uncommon, yeah. So he's got to come in for a fit.
You got to get fit, Earl.
That's a great point, right? You changed the technique, and obviously what worked last year may not work this year, and I think it's important, especially off the tee, obviously, to stay current.
Absolutely. Take advantage of your gains. You don't want to. Don't want to get yourself a six-pack and then there's no beaches to go to.
That's so true, yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Devin DeBay.
Devin is at Fox Harbour. He's a teaching pro at Fox Harbour. Good friend of mine. And
saved Devin's short game.
Well, yes, he had some problems and we were able to work through it. And he's actually got a very nice game. He's a very nice player. Yeah. Plays quite nicely out in the Atlantic PGA Conference. So
very cool.
He's a good lad for sure.
Devin, come and see us when you're in town. If we can help with any of your clubs or anything like that, we'd love to meet you when you're in town with TXG. And most summers comes to see you once a year.
Yeah, he comes in. We've had him out a couple of times. And
I think one day actually, I was up at the pulpit. There was two lads from kind of out that way.
Yeah, that was Josh and one of the guys that works with Josh from Royal Ashburn.
Oh, cool.
But absolutely, yeah. Devin's come up as well. So.
Very good.
Apparently, you saved Daniel's golf game and changed his life after 27 years of golf.
Well, there you go. Changed his life. Wow, that's a strong statement. I like that.
Life. Well, I mean, he says he's going to get back to a plus handicap. So yeah, that would change. That would change your life a little bit, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
We're kind of hoping there's two lives going to be changed.
Listen,
this year.
If people watching these lives are changed, I want my life changed as well.
Absolutely.
Change my life.
I told you last week, right?
Yeah.
I sell hope and happiness.
I love it.
Happiness. It's good.
Let's sell hope and happiness. Love that. Michael has been gifted, Ian, receiving a full bag. Oh, not gifted, actually. He's got a full bag with myself coming up. After the fit, do you continue with adjustments or other clubs? I would say, depends what you need. We are going to obviously get you into the right sticks for you, Michael, and if what you've got is part of that 14 club setup, then we'll stick with what you've got. There's no necessary need to change if it's not broken, if it's working really, really nicely. But if we see some opportunities to improve you, we'll definitely take those. And then obviously subsequently we keep working with you afterwards to make sure that Lofts and Lies and everything is what you need, because like we saw with Brian, I mean, his game has changed a little bit. That was one of the reasons we felt like we needed to make the changes to his clubs, because his game's evolved a little bit. So so just it really depends on what you need, but we'll take good care of you, Michael, don't worry about that.
Very nice. JG Golf is asking, is the Wilson Dynapower driver the most underrated of the year?
I mean, it's up there. It's definitely
trying to think
up
of what
there.
else would be an underrated driver. It's up there for sure. Let's say Strixon's ZX5 low spin. Yeah, is another one.
It's another one.
But yeah, Dynapower would be way up there because it, as we've said in the video, it kind of came out of nowhere because Wilson hasn't really made a driver that's been competitive.
No.
Period, I would say, that I know of. So
they were outsourcing. They were outsourcing their drivers.
The show. I forgot about the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show. They're outsourcing the kind of design to,
help us.
someone design a driver for us. We're kind of struggling to do it ourselves. That was kind of what it seemed like to me. But no, this new driver's, it looks great, sounds great,
flies great.
Yes.
Yeah, if you like an upright lie angle, and
it's a little upright,
yeah,
that's fair.
It's a little upright.
But for those players that do prefer an upright lie angle, I mean, we tested it last week with MJ.
Right.
And, actually, it was very, very good.
Was he getting some speed out of it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was not far behind his Paradigm.
Nice. Well, there you go.
And it's keeping up with Paradigm.
Paradigm's been super, super quick. Okay.
I'm just going to check on something.
I will get another one ready. Lots of questions this week. Okay. Vinny Then he says he's wondering if using a ball like Left Dash Pro V1 will get little to no spin on short iron and pitch shots. I had my first golf tournament in college, wondering if I should switch to the V1X. You won't get no spin.
Oh, it's not that
It's
drastic.
not that bad. It's a lot lower spin than the V1X, no question. But to say that it's would be terrible off wedges, I wouldn't say so. It'll not grab like a V1X, but it will still have some grab. So you have to decide why you picked that ball. I mean, obviously it's going to be probably one of the quickest off the driver, but Pro V1X is quick off the driver too. That's the thing. So it's usually
right now standard.
I kind of fluctuate between
the two?
V1
Between the two?
and
Yeah,
V1X. It just depends on the time of year, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
The greens get a little firm, I kind of switch over
Switch to
slightly
V1X.
more
Like it.
spin.
yeah, it makes sense.
Early in the season, I kind of like the feel of the other one. But I truthfully don't notice a tremendous amount of playability difference between the two. Maybe slightly around the green, but
Right.
not so much off the tee.
I think off the tee they're remarkably similar.
Very similar, yeah.
I just noticed like a 7-iron. If I hit a 7-iron with a Pro V1 versus a Pro V1X, there's always 500 RPMs difference.
That's about it. Okay.
Always, yeah. So I mean, it's not a ton. It regulates the distance by I would say 2 or 3 yards. And then wedges, yeah, it probably spins a little bit more off the wedges.
I think
but
too, maybe from a player design standpoint, I try and get players that hit a lot of fairways maybe to go with a slightly firmer ball, but players that are more apt to be in the rough,
Yeah,
play the
spinnier
spinny
one.
ball.
Totally.
The performance out of the rough is going to improve greatly, even if it's only 500 RPM, but
it could make a difference.
that
yeah.
might make a difference between holding the green and not.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
spin's usually a good thing for us.
I know for most people, unless you just spin the crap out of it. But
Yeah.
for most people, they could probably do with a little extra spin.
Yeah, definitely better things. The better of the two evils is more than
Is
less.
more than less.
I'd agree.
Yeah, because less your ball's just darting all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few people have asked if we know anything about the new Titleist T100s. We do not.
Yeah, I saw a few questions about that.
Tons of people asking. It's still. It's got to be 5 or 6 months away from even seeing what they would look like.
Usually, what,
Yes.
July?
August.
We'll probably get
July,
first
August.
glimpses in July, that sort of thing.
right.
Yeah.
It'll be a while, guys, but we will let you know when we're allowed to let you know. But expect it to be mid to late summer. It's too early for that. We don't know anything about them. Don't know anything more than you guys know. Okay.
I think the interesting thing with Titleist will be whether or not we can get a hand on some of these sort of prototype, Justin Thomas irons and.
It's true.
yeah.
They are
Yeah.
making some wild. Their blade prototypes have been pretty
I
cool.
mean, that'd be pretty cool to be able to maybe. They used to do that in the '80s, where you could kind of go in
Right.
and sort of
yeah.
kind of tell them you wanted this head and this kind of look, the boxier look or the round look. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I think
kinda get it
now.
custom.
I think now what like National Custom, that brand, they'd
Uh-huh.
probably do that for you. Would Artisan do that for you?
Yeah.
So there's a couple small brands that would do
Yeah.
it. Titleist would probably tell you, unless you're winning on tour, you're not getting any of that.
Probably right.
Okay, I gotta take this because someone asked me the other day the same thing. When we used to joke about Aventus purple, was it not something between blue and black?
It was high balance. We talked about it being counterbalanced.
We wanted a counterbalance
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, like
That's
a,
what we were
a
talking about.
counterbalance blue, basically, is what we talked about.
I couldn't remember
Yeah.
because to me I was like, isn't TR blue just what we used to joke about? But
It was a high.
it was a high balance point. Okay.
Which I actually heard about some prototypes
Oh,
of
they
a
might
high
do it?
balance point Ventus out there.
Interesting.
It
For
gives
a
people the
tour
options, the
Sure.
the pin guys and stuff like that to
That's a good point.
utilize the head mass.
With the head weight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the standard blue or black is quite tip heavy, right?
They're on the
It is.
lower
Lower
side.
balance
Yeah.
point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely on the lower side. Yeah.
Yeah, what's fascinating when you get into the balance point shafts is how significant the weight is up in the butt section. So if you take, for example, if you take a 70-gram shaft, right, divided by 46 inches, so every inch is worth around 1.5 inches, right, for every inch.
Right.
When you get into some of the counterbalance ones, those weight per or grams per inch can go up to like 2.4
Wow.
grams per inch.
That's a lot.
And the counterbalance stuff. Yeah.
So when you're dealing with different counterbalance shafts, it's actually an experiment I want to do. Is I want to basically take a bunch of shafts and cut them in 46 1-inch increments.
And weigh them?
Yeah.
And weigh them all
and
up?
from tip to butt, number them 1 to 46, and have different variances. So, I know that if we're tipping, we could almost take a different bend profile, tip it 2 inches to achieve a balance point. So you can achieve flex and balance point at the same time. So I do think there's a nuance in there as well. If you've got that big of a discrepancy, because if one at one end weighs 2.4 grams, what's the tip piece weighing? I mean,
right.
0.8,
and then you get obviously the shafts that are stiff in the butt, stiff in the tip, and maybe not so much in the middle, right?
You can start to really kind of modify profiles to find
That's
different.
very
Yeah, very, very cool. Because I was taking shafts. It was 5 different shafts I took, and I basically measured them all at balance point. So somewhere between a low balance point at, call it 23 inches from tip, and a high balance point was 26 inches. So there really wasn't that big of a difference when you measured them, but when I measured them on the scale, it was quite a difference. So I'm going, okay, well, what's the variables in here? And I got to thinking it's about grams per inch. So then you start looking at, well, if you look at shafts like VA Nemesis that has tungsten powder in the epoxy and basically in the handle, so that's you've got different materials at different parts of the shaft that change the weight balance, so it's not uniform.
It's
the whole
crazy
way through.
how that all works. Yeah. Interesting.
And I think maybe that's why traditionally if you stick you say, hey, I love the shaft, and you go ahead and stick it into another head, then sometimes it doesn't work.
It reacts differently.
Because the way it's been
definitely
the weighting of it. So that's interesting.
Last week, apparently, we saved Matt by steering him away from the Elevate 95 mph. I recall him being too quick for it, so that if my memory serves. Says he tried Elevate Tour Stiff and loves them. Great, good to hear. So he's put them into his Florida Gap wedge. Do we recommend putting these in his 54 and 60, or should he stick with the DG spinners that he's got in there? So Elevate Tour Stiff is his new shaft of choice.
Right, nice.
Would you just go with like a soft step one of those in the wedges, or and he's got spinner? I mean, the spinner is a specialty thing. You have to want the spinner.
And it is quite a jump in.
It's a very different shaft, right?
Yeah, it's very different. Very different.
I think for consistency, I mean, personally, I would recommend, yes, you would go with 8-iron shaft version of your like a soft step version of your iron shafts.
Yeah, I think Elevate Tour is a really good choice for Matt, and I would go. Yeah, I think going 8-iron shafts is effectively what Project X are calling their new wedge
They've
shafts.
Just
anyway,
made a bunch of 8-iron shafts with the wedge.
8-iron shafts. Yeah,
they might as well call it Project X 8-iron. Love it. Okay, that was good.
The tiger trick.
Yep.
Yeah. But we talked a little bit about that in one of our fit with Brian this morning. There's old tricks that club fitters and club builders have used for years that are getting a little bit lost in technology. And we used one with Brian today. We'll kind of spoil it, but it was
a good one.
Grip orientation to kind of get him to kind of think about rotation a little bit. So he had a feel and a visual for face based on grip position.
Cool.
So and that's something that
Old
people
school.
used to do all the time, old school. But now with weights and adjustable sleeves and things like that, we don't do as much of that stuff anymore. And should.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, that one, won't spoil it, but that was probably where the fit turned around the most.
Yeah,
was something that was not exactly, I don't know, it's not stuff we usually talk about.
No.
Probably also the cheapest thing you could possibly do to a club to make it work
100%.
differently. Literally orient. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it. You guys will see
Look
it.
forward to seeing it. Yeah,
it was
great.
different. It was something
great.
that even this channel's never seen it. So, pretty cool. A few people asking if you think that original owners of TS, like Titleist TS drivers, is it time for them to look at an upgrade, or you think?
Yes.
Yeah, you think so? It's come that far?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while, right? Because they're 2-year product cycles.
I definitely think
TSR
TS was good. TS product was good.
But I don't think it's TSR is a joke how good it is.
TSR is crazy.
It is crazy.
Really good.
Yeah, we were hitting some today for our bracket prelim, and we got some just really fast ball speeds, and the 2 I have an easy time with, like just hitting fairways, but the 3 was producing just some like crazy monster drives. So, yeah, if you have a TS, I would at least go for a fit, at least go for an evaluation and see. Question from Justin's kind of interesting. Justin says he plays a Stealth Bus lofted down to 9, uses a TP5X. When he goes on a launch monitor, spin is good, but on the course he seems to spin it up. That's a common issue, isn't it? You spring a little different out on the course. What do you see? People get a little steeper? at times, or maybe their strike strays low.
Yeah, it can be any one of the number of those things, but definitely there can be some delivery differences. It can also be a little bit of the numbers you're prepared to pay attention to. I think I see that a lot from people on launch monitors. Is kind of like, they want to see the 2300 spinners and they don't want to recognize the 2900 spinners. And then obviously some fitters will delete a lot of shots. From the session
from a strike perspective.
That was a miss, but you don't get to do that in the golf course. So it needs to be for me. It needs to be more of a real outlier for me to kind of take it out there. Something that's it's not adding any value to the numbers. 2900 when you spin at 2300 to me is adding value to the numbers.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, probably not worth lofting down, because if he lofts down, he's in a good spot on a good strike. You don't want to ever strike the ball well and have too low spin. That doesn't really set you up for success. So, Craig is asking if we're going to review the new Scotties. Probably not, Craig, if I'm honest. We don't do a lot of putter reviews, to be honest, unless it's a very big technology story. I mean, no offense to Scotty, but not usually a lot of tech going on with a Scotty Cameron putter. It's a little bit more of a jewelry item, a little more of a collector's item year to year. Not a whole lot been going on probably the last couple times.
I did notice a little bit of the hollowing out of the new the neck piece, the kind of in the plumber's neck and the hosel sort of
did
part.
they hollow?
Yeah,
just like kind of took some material out?
They've taken a little bit of that, just obviously trying to relocate a little more mass towards the centre of the putter. Anything else you've seen in the new ones?
I mean, they look great.
They do look great.
I think the new ones are probably the closest commercial sort of product to, let's say, a Tour Rat or even a 009 a little bit. There's getting closer, anyways, to that. I really look at the top line differences and things like that. The bumper differences. Basically, when you're talking about one of the putters that's probably $5,000.
Yeah, that is a super expensive putter.
You see a little bit more detail to the top edge, a little bit more, maybe a little sharper, cleaner overall look.
Definitely.
But the new putter, I think, looks great. It's probably the closest, as I said.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good point. Yeah, it's always good looking stuff. It's just, for us to do a review, are we going to see a crazy difference in ball roll or something? Probably not.
Nope.
Right? You'd seen it in a fitting. It's worth seeing in a fitting, but we don't really. To be fair, we don't really do putter reviews. We do them once in a blue moon. So, easy one from Blake. Soft feeling, low spin golf ball. Pro V1.
Yep.
AVX. Bridgestone. They kind of raised the spin on all theirs, didn't they?
Did they? Oh, low spin. I'm sorry.
Or sorry, no, they didn't. I'm talking.
Yeah.
So the RS.
Yeah. To be RSX.
It's the lower
XS.
swing speed one. Yeah. That one.
That one
is a softer, lower spin ball.
That is definitely a little bit lower spin, because when we first tested the Tiger Ball,
it was crazy high spin.
Crazy high spin.
Yeah, which they've changed.
The next time we tried it, it was much lower in spin.
Yeah. Which I still don't think Tiger plays that ball personally.
Yeah.
TaylorMade Tour Response would be good too.
Yeah,
it's pretty soft and
soft.
lower spin.
Yeah.
Not stupid low spin, like still good,
agreed.
But lower.
Agreed.
What else can we take?
Man's Cave Woodworking. Scott, this is Sunil. Awesome teacher you are. Sunil, one of your students?
I think I gave him a lesson, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's
I appreciate that.
He's a fan either way.
There you go.
Even if
Thank you.
Major difference between Cobra Mim Tour irons and Cobra King Tour irons. I think, to me, the Mims were them getting sort of their foot in the door with irons. It was a good iron, performed well. Yeah. It was a little big, and I think now with the King Tour, they've made themselves like a competitor.
Agreed.
It's like a T100 competitor. It's a competitor to any like a Mizuno 223 competitor. So I think the shaping. I think the King Tours feel better than the Mims did. It's just a little grown-up version of it, as far as I'm concerned.
I think the latest direction, I think, with Cobra has been quite positive.
It's good, right?
Really good,
I think the product is super
strong,
and obviously there's been some people maybe no longer involved with the company,
sure.
which might actually prove to be.
And it's going to free some budget up. You say that much.
Exactly.
They paid him a lot of money, so
I think they're going to be back in the arena a little bit more. Anyways,
I agree. Yeah. No, we get more questions about Cobra irons than we ever have, and it's rightfully so because the stuff is it's actually quite good now.
Definitely. Yeah.
The driver's fast.
10 years ago, you would not have said, "Oh, I recommend you try out those Cobra CBs." People would be like, "Why would I do that?" But
shape-wise, feel-wise, everything about those is fantastic. Yeah, the woods continue to go from strength to strength.
The woods have just been. I mean, the woods are a no-brainer. Obviously, the last 2 years they've been amazing. Okay.
We last couple of weeks, guys, we have been we've been kind of teasing out or kind of telling you guys about different fitting promos.
Right. Yeah, what's up
that's
this
been going
week?
on. Actually, nothing currently live. There is a gift card promo right now.
That's right.
With ourselves and Get the Guys in the US. So with Club Champion and ourselves, there's a 20% bonus on any gift card bought right now, which is to be honest huge.
I mean, it's 20% off your clubs.
It's significant.
How long does that go for?
That is actually ends today. That one. 20% on the gift cards ends today. There is a promo launching Thursday, so can't quite tease what that is, but stay tuned on all social platforms. You'll see that come on Thursday. And really the only other thing is, again, just to mention again, we're in NYC next week, this weekend.
We will be there in
Sunday.
5 days, Saturday, and then Sunday's the day.
Yeah. Exciting.
So if you put your name in, I believe you'll get an email either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, we are live streaming this event, so you don't have to attend to see it. We'll do this, obviously, same kind of thing, but just in a different location. So
that'll be exciting.
It'll be cool, yeah. But I've never been to New York either, so I'll just hope the weather's not going to be too crappy. Have you looked at the forecast? It's supposed to be decent on the weekend?
I haven't looked.
I hope it's
Shocker.
not crap. I don't know. I'll look right now. I mean, it's not a long flight, but hopefully there's no weather coming in to get in our way.
We need to get you booked on the front right side of the plane.
I have to look at what I chose. I chose a seat. Maybe
Okay.
I am on the right side.
Front right is where you want to be.
Is that how you see the city?
You'll see the city when you come in. And we're flying at a really good time.
Sunset, basically, no?
Kind of in and around that time,
you
so
go.
yeah.
There's a veteran play.
Yeah, you got to get in
Veteran play.
that.
I'm going to check my seats tonight then.
Yeah, we'll make that little change.
Couple people asking about Rory's bag change rumors. I think it's going to come out in the next couple days. We can't tell you, but there's stuff going on for sure.
There is.
You've seen the rumors. I believe. Well, he's playing this week, so you're for sure going to see what happened by Thursday. But you may see some leaks, practice rounds, probably sooner than that, right?
Yeah.
He'll be playing pro-am. When are pro-ams? Is that Mondays?
I'm not sure what they do with the match play week.
I have no
actually,
idea how they
I'm
do
sure it's probably traditionally because they start Wednesday, I believe,
Wednesday.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wednesday's tee up.
Probably Tuesday.
Yeah, and they I would doubt they do a pro-am because they've got so much golf potentially ahead of them.
So true. It's a lot of golf.
Lot
Maybe
of golf.
maybe they let them off on that one.
Yeah, and they play the
good
same course every year, so it's not like they kind of really need to practice,
a good point.
rounds and stuff like. Maybe some of the rookies, get to see it, a couple of days before. But most of the guys probably save the energy, don't they?
Such a fun golf course too to play. That
Oh, it
match
looks
play.
amazing.
Yeah,
I
it's just
love the look of that.
Lots of
Austin Country Club.
Austin, yeah.
I drove by
Yeah.
it when I was in Texas that time. It looks amazing.
I mean, the par fives are gettable. There's some drivable par fours. Even 18 for some of those guys that can get to the green. So it's a really great, match play golf course. That little 17th hole par
Oh,
three
it's
is
great.
It's a great
nasty.
hole.
It's a
Really
nasty
good.
little
Oh,
par
yeah.
three.
I know.
Yeah, some big swings always happen on that hole.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't see past Scheffler, though, can you?
I'd
It's
bet
like a
on him.
home game.
I'd bet on him. Yeah, why
he's
not?
playing
He
so
won it
good.
last year, didn't he? Did he win last year? Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he win,
yeah,
did he win the match
yeah.
play last year?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? Like you got to go with sleepers too. I mean, you got your
Who'd you
Kevin
like?
Kisner, and
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
even know
that's
if he's in
true.
it this year, but
Dogs,
I mean,
yeah.
he does it so well on that course. He
I
plays
know.
well.
He
nicely.
does play great round there. Yeah.
But I think you'll see some nice.
Fitzpatrick kind of plays quite well round there, I think, as well. I think he's had some good.
Okay.
Good.
He'd be a good pick.
Yeah,
He's a scrappy guy.
Scrappy.
Yeah, I think you got to do it all well there. You got to be long enough, but I don't think it doesn't really reward being super long and crooked though.
Yeah.
So you have to hit it straight enough too. I think it'll be a nice one to look at this week just to see how the players are rounding into form for obviously Augusta. So
Yeah.
It's right around the corner.
I cannot wait. I'm so
won't be
excited.
long. Won't be long.
Scott, about 1 million people have asked about whether it's possible to get a private lesson with you. Are you available at all? What is your? Because I don't think you are. I'm just assuming.
It's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, typically it is possible, but sometimes there's a wait. Even online right now, I'm booking about 4 to 6 weeks out online.
So what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Through the Instagram, through the Scott Cook Certified.
Scott Cook
Just
Certified
DM me there, and we can chat about it. It is. It's a nice problem, but it is a problem.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Yeah.
But we can definitely say the exact same thing. We've had been busy over the last few years here. People go, "Oh, busy's great." Well, yeah, busy's. I'd rather be busy than dead, but it's still a problem.
Yeah. I mean, how do you?
So many things you can ways to scale yourself.
Yeah.
So
how do you make the most of your time? Very true.
yeah. A lot of people asking for a Scott Cook's "What's in the Bag." I think we might need to do that one.
Well, I've been a Titleist FootJoy guy for 23 years now,
yeah.
so traditionally there's an awful lot of Titleist product in the bag. Every once in a while there'll be something else, but I've always been an MB guy, so the 620 MBs, got a couple sets of those. That's currently in the bag. The new woods are fantastic.
Love them. Yeah, you get some.
Went UB60X in the TSR3 head.
Nice.
And the driver, and then the UBX70s in the Fairy Woods.
And you done what, 4-wood, 7-wood?
Yeah, a little different this time. I went 4-wood, 7-wood. The ball speed on the 4-wood was within basically 1.5 miles of the 3-wood, but the window was a little bit higher. So I went with that. I like to have a little bit more stopping power, maybe into the par 5s.
Yeah.
And then the 7-wood was just a dream out of the rough. It would go almost basically around 230, 235, but straight up in the air, and even out of the rough, it's fantastic. So really excited about those. Looking forward to getting some new wedges and so on this year. But basically, the bag hasn't changed much over the years.
Gotcha.
You definitely like your equipment, though, don't you? You like to kind of like tinker and try some different things and. A bit of a kind of connoisseur when it comes to like sole designs and
I
nuances
think
like
I would look at the sort of subtle pieces. I think there's a lot of great sets that maybe don't fit people well because of sole design. We've talked about that many times. Shaft choices, counterbalance versus swing weight wise. I mean, I've always been kind of 1/2 to 3/4 inch over on my irons, so I'm 6'1", but I don't have really long arms, so that little bit of length helps me out. I would say that. That puts my swing weight, though, up around D5. Wedges tend to be D8, D9. Okay. So I like pretty heavy stuff. And so if I go counterbalance with any of that, it really throws off my timing a little bit. But obviously we could use irons that go a lot further. But I don't really play that game too much. I'd rather that my 7-iron goes 170, 175 yards and kind of stops every time. I'm not looking to hit a 7-iron 200 yards personally, but there are some that certainly need the distance. I like the workability certainly of the blades a little bit more, but I've always gravitated toward the blade because of the sole design. Just a little sharper, a little thinner sole design.
a little cleaner.
Yeah, I tend to be a bit picky, so that's a nice sole.
Very cool.
I got one here that'll be an easy one. Currently playing 14-year-old Mizuno MP30s. Is that a blade?
No.
What are they?
MP30 was like a little kind of half cavity.
So small still.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember these guys.
Think it's time to get rid of them and get more of a distance iron or something more forgiving. I'm an 18 handicapper. So that's a yes. It is time for you to get rid of them and get something more forgiving. Doesn't necessarily have to be a distance iron.
Oh, yes. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, they're not exactly a huge cavity, are they?
No, that was a blade. Blade-ish.
If he wants to stay with Mizuno, I guess 223 would be a nice change. It's a larger version of that.
223 for sure.
Plenty of forgiveness.
It's amazing iron. I mean, 223s, T100s, like
T100
that
would be
style
nice.
of iron. It's kind of like the transition.
He's probably a decent ball striker considering he's held on to those for so long.
Yep.
I know he's a higher handicap, but he's probably not doing with the irons, would be my guess.
Yeah, in 223s, MP30s were not a small head size. They were not particularly wide sole, but they were a little larger in head size, and top line, a little more on the generous side. So, those were gorgeous. That was right around the time, well, not around, but similar designs like Titleist 990.
Yeah.
That kind of design. It's almost like a
just like a little bit clunkier, a little bit
Yeah.
less of a traditional thin top line. It was more just a little bit of beef added to it.
Definitely.
Jonathan's coming for a fit and wants to know if we have Wilson irons. We do not carry Wilson irons. No, we don't carry Wilson anything right now. So we have about 1 million other irons that you can try, Jonathan. When
We're
you're
certainly not short of ones to try. But
confident we will find you something.
Yeah,
we will find you something.
We'll take a few more.
Yeah, let's take 2 more. You can grab one there if you're.
Okay, Anders has had a bunch of funny ones. I've been monitoring your comments, Anders, about what Rory's playing and how many times to blink. If
I
it's
saw
a certain
one of those.
brand.
I hope I didn't blink at the wrong time.
I know. So definitely appreciate that, Anders. What else? Lots of chat going on in here. Eric saying, "Hey lads, lefty here. Last season my miss was left, but I couldn't control it. Now I'm missing right. Any ideas? Get a lesson. Go get a lesson. Stop scouring the internet for what sounds like your problem, which is probably what's happening right now. You're probably watching YouTube channels and
Dr. Google.
Yeah, Dr. Google, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, go get a lesson. Actually, do yourself a favor, take a series of lessons and kind of drill.
Yeah, don't just take one.
Yeah, go and kind of get some work done and drill back into your fundamentals, making sure that your kind of ball position, making sure that all your setup fundamentals are in place, and then over time, as you start to drill and do good maintenance and that type of stuff, it'll all start to kind of come back together a little bit.
Like it. This is a good one to finish on. Justin says, should TaylorMade revive the P760s? Would like something between the MC and the 770.
So,
I couldn't agree more.
It's funny.
Interesting.
I actually need to check the time of this conversation.
Well, in the meantime, I think personally, MC to 770 is an enormous jump. They need something in between. Every other company has something in between, like their small CB and their their first distance iron. TaylorMade doesn't have anything.
So I remember lying in bed one night and I saw something. I must have been scrolling something on my phone, and Bovey.
Bovey, who designs the irons for TaylorMade.
The irons. He had said something about like, "What do you want to see?" Like putting out on Instagram, like with a question. So I had messaged him like, "New 760s, less offset, please." And then so he got into like, "What is it you loved about the 760s?" And we kind of got into a little bit about shaping and different stuff about design and progression and feel.
Yeah, it was a smart iron.
Yeah, it was the 1025 carbon steel, very very soft. All that sort of stuff. So I think it is in their kind of line of sight at some point to do a 760.
Even if it's called something else, I don't care. They need something in there
to bridge that gap.
You've hit the MCs; they're tiny. They might as well be a blade. Definitely. And the 770 is a cool iron, but hollow iron doesn't suit everybody. No. So where this huge gap is, I just feel like every other company has one.
Yeah, and that's what Matt always says to me. He's like, why? He's like, do you not think you could combo P7 MCs and 770s? And I'm like, no, they don't feel like they are an iron or two irons that could transition together.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Even the feel difference would throw me off.
Too much, too big of a difference.
Way too different.
Yeah, that's off-putting when you hit a one iron and it feels like a forged blade, and then the next
the next one's a bit clickier.
Like a clickier explosion. It kind of throws you off a little bit.
Absolutely, definitely.
I mean, I would love to see them come up with something in the next year that's a 760-ish iron or whatever, or a T100 like iron. That's basically all it needs to be.
It's such a winner. Yeah. Such a winner.
TaylorMade, make yourself a T100. Chef recommends.
Joe saying weather looks great for Sunday in NYC.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Very cool.
We'll be inside, but I'll enjoy the weather from the windows. Just nice to have good weather. Okay, let's end with this because Ian's going to fail this test. How many personal sets of irons is too many? 5? Question mark? 6?
5 per month.
Question mark?
You
Is
probably
that 5 per
have.
month?
You could drive away, I'm sure.
I've got a few. I've got a few.
Is it in the double digits?
I've got, there's probably 10 sets.
So you don't get rid of old stuff?
I like to keep the stuff I like. I've gotten rid of a couple sets I didn't like that much, but I've got old 660s, 690 MBs, 710 MB I really liked.
Are you just counting in your mind, hoping that he's worse? Yeah. This is not going to happen. He's over there like, one more.
There's a few. I've got a couple sets of Beryllium I2s in the basement.
Oh, jeez.
So it goes back a long ways.
You're in double digits for sure. You must be.
Double digits?
You have to be.
Might be triple.
That would be insane.
Not too bad.
I currently have the most sets of irons I've ever had in my life.
We got 2?
3.
3?
3.
It's pretty good.
I have my irons. I have a Cobra set waiting to be built.
That's right.
And PXG was nice enough to give us a set of irons as well.
Of course,
so technically, I own 3 sets of irons right now. So
when you've got that many sets of irons, you forget about the sets of irons that you also have, because you're rhyming off like the PXGs.
You couldn't name.
I forgot I've got those.
Yeah, they're over there. I'm looking at them.
Yeah, so I've got the Gen 5s, the Gen 6s.
Gen 6 too.
Yeah. No, there's definitely.
I think the question is, do you have a set for each day of the week? That would be more than.
I would say anything over 5 is too many. I'm going to say that. Anything if you have more than 5 iron sets in your home or storage locker, you need to get rid of some.
Depends if you have 5 homes. If you've got 5 homes in different parts of the world, then sure, you need 5 sets.
If you're Tony Robbins, then you can have more.
That's right. Tony has his 8 sets for his 8 homes around the world.
Yeah. Then all the power to you.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we call it a day?
Wrap her up. Let's do it.
Good live?
Yeah, great live.
Guys, thanks for sticking with us.
My pleasure, always.
Thanks for joining us.
Good fun. Scott's coaching one of our VIPs, one of our family members here at TXG. He's been a
lifer.
Yeah, he's a lifer. He's definitely. I think he might have been. I think he was insistent. He was the first dollars through the till when we opened TXG.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's a big honor to have.
Yeah, he was. So amazing guy, Mark Joshua. He's near and dear to all of us.
He is a beauty.
Yeah.
Guys, do us a favor, and before we press end on the stream, please like it, and maybe even leave a comment or something. As we said, we've taken the super chat off. I think the flow of the session is nicer. It gives us a chance to be casual and get everyone's questions that didn't necessarily have to pay for them, but just ones we thought were interesting. That being said, it would be helpful if you liked it and commented, because then it just helps us get more views on it. Then we don't really need to worry about ever having super chats, because the video will do well.
Very good. Very good.
That's a good point.
So help us out. Let's get that over 200 at least, and we will see you guys. Actually, we will see you Sunday. Live from New York.
We will.
It's Sunday afternoon.
Yes, live from New York.
3 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Cadence for the videos this week. We have Brian's Fit coming tomorrow.
Don't, for the love of God, miss that.
Okay, that's a good one.
Extremely good.
And then we have we done test with my little fairway woods.
We're revealing Ian's fairway woods.
Yep,
I'll call it that. And then a bracket prelim.
A bracket prelim
for a Titleist.
Yes, the prelim. How can we forget the bracket? It's back.
It is started officially. Really, the prelims have started.
And how many?
8 heads.
It'll be an 8-head bracket. Draw. So we had to do a little tinkering to see which Titleist head
would make the cut, make the grade.
I'll say this: will be best suited to the bracket. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily the driver that I would play, but it's what's best suited. So cool. We have to do that for Ping as well, so we'll do that next week.
What are your thoughts on? Because I feel bad we're kicking Tour Edge out, which we have a large box, by the way. In
do we?
Saga,
so that needs to be a prelim as well.
Well, I'm just thinking, because we talked about PXG, being in the main draw, because we've tested some of their new product, and it is really good. But Tour Edge is also done really, really well. So I wonder if we need a little prelim for that. I
think that's fair enough. Give them a chance. We have to review why don't we review the product first?
Yeah.
If it's good, then definitely.
Then we can do it, and then we can see if it kind of warrants its place. But
I saw it in the comments a few times. People were saying, "Have you tested it yet?" So
we have a huge box. Okay. So there's irons, there's woods.
Okay, we'll give it a chance then. I'm down. I mean, it almost won 1 year. It was the
finalist or something.
Finalist, yeah.
Got to the final. I think it was maybe against. I think it was against maybe Mizuno. It lost in the final.
Lost to Mizuno. Yeah. So we'll do a qualifier with that. Maybe against Rixon or maybe against PXG. Somebody like that. Good
stuff. Guys, look out for the podcast. Going to drop on Wednesday.
Hopefully Wednesday. It was a good one. Matty and I, we'd know Mikey. He was in the hospital bed. Not quite, but he was in his own hospital bed.
Feeling rough last week. So it was just Matty Boy and I. We had lots to chat about, though. It was it was great. A good healthy 55 minutes.
We did. We filled the time
of chatter. So look out for that.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks for joining us. As I said, we'll see you Sunday.
Yes.
At 3 p.m. Eastern time.
And hopefully we see some of you in person if you have.
30 of you we will see in person.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Check your emails tonight.
Great stuff.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.